This is another video in the set on having fun and being creative with Adobe software. This instruction was called Twirly Mandala Images. And my recollection is that Larry Mathewson is the one who introduced us to these techniques. So if you're following along with me, you go into the editor of your Adobe software and do a file open. Go over to the folder for Saturday, April 7th of 2018, and you'll see a folder called Twirly Mandalas. Open it up and you'll see the PDF file there. But also you will see the image example, and if you'll grab the JPEG, and if you're like I am, make sure that your software recognizes it as a JPEG, or it will open it in Camera Raw, and you'll have to go and bring it back over into the editor. So this is a JPEG, and we want it open in the editor workspace. So here is the example. And in the handout that I gave you, and that is on the folder of material that comes with this week's work, there is a website where I was directed by Larry, and you can watch the video there. I found the trouble was it moved so fast that I had to keep stopping the video in order to learn it. So I think you'll find this one moves a little more slowly. Larry recommended that you choose an image with good color and contrast. And so, these projects are ones for using an image that you don't really know any other thing that you can do with it. In other words, I was here at Silo City, and I enjoyed all the old paint and everything, and so I photographed it. And when I got down, there wasn't too much I could do straight on with that image, but it worked quite nicely in this technique. So that when I first started with it, it had a little stroke around the outside from when it had been used to be projected on a screen, and I removed it. So that part of it you don't have to do. I've already removed it here. And so we are going to start with going to, from the very beginning, out to the filter menu, and go to Pixelate, and come over and choose Mezzo Tint. And there are several options here for type. I want you to change what you have there and take medium lines. Okay? Doesn't look very interesting, but you have to hold on and say okay. Now you're going to go to the filter menu again, and you're going to go to blur. And this time you're going to choose radial blur. That's one of the options that are there. When it pops up, I want you to go to the blur method is zoom, and I want you to choose best, and then go up to the amount and create for the amount 100%. So you have zoom best at 100, and then click OK. Getting interesting, but not there yet. Okay, we're going to repeat this step 2 more times, and it's quite easy because if you go and pop open the filter menu, at the top is the last filter you used, which is the radial blur one, set just the way we did it. So choose it twice more. Here's one more application of it, and then do one more. So I've done it 3 times all, and that helps to smooth out this and make it much softer looking. Now you need to make a copy of the background, Command or Control J, or you can always go to Layer, Duplicate Layer, and that would give you the same thing. At this point, you're going to look at the blend mode. That's that little pop open that says normal, and you're going to change the blend mode to lighten. It's in the second group there in blend modes. Okay? And now I want you to activate the background, the very bottom layer, the background layer. We're going to go to the filter menu again, and we're going to go to distort. We're going to come down to twirl, and we're going to set the angle in that little box to -100. So use your dash for minus and type in 100 and say OK. Now you're going to go to the top layer and you're going to go back to the filter, distort, twirl, and this time you want a plus 100. So you can just get rid of the minus, so it's just plain 100 and say OK. Okay. Now the picture that you have here is the result, but I would certainly crop this. The edges, top and bottom of this, are not as interesting. So I'm going to crop it into a square. And to do that, I'll take my crop tool. I have to make my image fit the image area. So I'm going to use View, Fit on Screen, or Command or Control A. And then with this crop tool, I want the width and the height to both be identical. I simply type the number 1 in both fields. That'll guarantee that however I crop it, that the sides will be equal, which is what I want. And you're going to find that I don't like one of the things that is available in the newer versions of Elements. They give you suggestions for cropping it. So if you grab the crop tool and you come up here to use it, and if it starts giving you a grid at all, the simplest solution to working with it after you crop it where you think you might like it, if you want to get rid of that, you can either go down to the option bar, get rid of the grid overlay, or I find sometimes I just use that red cancel button in the middle of where the crop is. And what that does is it doesn't take away my crop tool, it takes away their suggestions. So now I can go back and crop it without dealing with that. And I have to decide what's best. In my case, I'm going to make the height equal to the width. And of course, if I don't have it centered right, I can easily move this around. But in this case, it comes out the way I chose it. If you look, my crop is right in the middle of the center design. And again, the grid overlay I can dismiss by clicking in the option bar where it says grid overlay. And then I don't have to look at it if I don't want to. And when I'm satisfied with it, I simply use the enter, the return, or the green check mark in Elements. And I have my twirly design. Now, this is a starting point. You could go on and make additional changes, and as long as the lighten mode is there, it will blend each of those layers together. So this is just a starting point, and of course, every image you choose to create a twirly mandala will actually have a different result depending on the color and where you chose it and how much lines there are. You can see that part of what's interesting here is the color and the fact that there are lots of changes from one color to the other, which helps to create the pattern. So this is not a difficult one, and just have fun with it and enjoy it.